Hey guys, this is Ellington and welcome back to the city of Tarsus. And I swear, I know what you're thinking, but I swear this is just a coincidence. I told you guys in the last video that this is one of my favorite settlements to play on, but it actually is just a coincidence that we are back on this map today. Today we actually I've got a little bit of a treat for you guys. So, this match is a 4v4 that is actually a rematch between myself and a team of people that I got together, and Joe on it, and a team that he was playing with while he was streaming a little over a week ago now. This was actually a rematch of that match. The first match is actually going to be covered by Pixelated Apollo. I don't know exactly when he's going to be putting that one out, but keep an eye out on his channel for it because he will be putting out the first match. I'm not going to tell you who wins that one or who wins this one until the end of this one. But it's going to be kind of a cool little thing. So make sure that you check out that one when it comes out as well. And then I hope you guys enjoy this one. So we'll just go ahead and go over the defenders. So in the first match we did, Joe and his team were defending this settlement, and myself and my team were attacking. Now in this one, my team is defending and Joe's team is attacking. So on the defense here, as Galatia on the right side, is me. I don't play Galatia a whole lot, but it is a very fun faction to play. Very good infantry that is really not very expensive at all, which was very nice. You can see here we have some Gete units. Gete is being brought by Chronic Masturbator, or Unclutch is what he goes as in Rome. And right here as Masacely is Beast Master. He is going to be, you can see, taking a big brunt of this assault over here. And then finally as Nabatea we have Buds Rome. Now, attacking right over here as Parthia is Dan. Right next to Dan as the Arverni is actually Joe on it himself. And then right over here as Carthage, we have Charlie 6 Zulu. And who are we missing? We're missing Macedon. Where is Macedon? Where was Macedon? I guess we can only see a little bit of Macedon right now. So Macedon, the final army for the attackers, is being commanded by Armored Scarab. So we're going to go ahead and kick this one off because this one gets started pretty quick. As it gets started, we'll go ahead and show you some of the army comps. Parthia has got quite a bit of Parthian swords here, and then looks like one mercenary hoplite, Royal Cataphract, Eastern Cataphract, and we do have some shelling coming in. Now, Joe did try to use his guerrilla deploy archers to try and take out Nabatea's artillery. We were kind of expecting that. With Arverni, a lot of people try to do that. So I actually had some slingers up on the wall that were there to counter something of the sort. And I mean, you can see they already got 46 kills, so I definitely think that was a good trade. And unfortunately, you could see that allowed Nabatea's artillery to come in here and just completely destroyed Parthia's ballista there, which is really helpful for us. That was going to do a lot of damage to our walls and open up way more than we wanted. Now you can see Arverni does also have a ballista. Arverni's got Celtic Warriors, looks like 3 units of Celtic Warriors there. Oathsworn, 3 Chosen Swords, and a Naked Warrior, and then a bunch of Chosen Swords on the towers. And 1 more Celtic Warrior on this Tortoise. Now Macedon, like I said, we can't see a lot of Macedon right now. But we do have 2 Thorax Swords. There's another Eastern Cataphract here from Parthia, by the way, and a Thorough Spear on that Tortoise. Honestly, we can't see a lot of Carthage either right now. Carthage has 2 units of mercenary Iberian Cav, 1 here, 1 all the way over there doing some scouting. Got a mercenary Scutari, Italian swords, a bunch of Italian swords there, and another Scutari. And as you can see, my artillery is really just coming in, getting a lot of kills on these Scutari and the Italian swords. But it looks like Macedon's going to come in and bust right through this wall right here. I pretty much decided not to go for the tortoises because there's already so many tortoises on this wall already. It really wouldn't have helped that much to take out one of them. You know, because they're all going to the same place pretty much anyways. It just, I felt it was more, you know, cost efficient to get some kills on the units rather than on trying to take down the tortoise. So you can see we are kind of defending from this spot and here, and then from here over into these two spots here. Parthia is going to come over this way. Arverni, obviously, you can see is going to attack this wall here. And as you can see, Macedon is already through on this spot, as well as Carthage getting through that corner. It always helps to go after these little corner spots here, because they typically create a larger breach than other places do. Which is nice, because it just gives you a lot more area to get through. So what I'm actually going to do is the units that they have out here, like these Italian swords, are typically not like very good. Which, I mean, that's why they're used to bring the tortoises up, because, you know, they're expendable. It's easy. If you lose some, it's not a huge deal. So what I'm actually going to be doing is, as you can see, I'm actually moving up some Galatian swords. I'm actually going to go out and engage those and see if I can't maybe get them off of the map. You know, really try and get a little aggressive with it. I'm also moving some Galatian swords up to this gap as well. And as you can see, they are going to land a siege tower over here. So I'm going to take these Galatian legionaries. I'm going to put them up on this wall to help hold this stairway. Now, the issue, I would say the biggest issue that we end up having here is going to be holding this area here. You get some really, really fantastic archer shots as the attackers when you're attacking this corner. Because if you have archers on both sides of here, you can get really, really good crossfire up into this area. You know, archers on this side, they can support the backs over here, while archers on this side, they can support the backs over here. So it does a really good job with that. So that's kind of the biggest concern there. Arverni has made a ton of breaches here. We've got 4 breaches just in that one wall section over there. And then Parthia does have the tortoises and the towers moving up onto this side, with the majority of Getae and a mixture of the Nabatea going to be helping defend that. Getae also put a couple units over by me. Now, I think that what Charlie was trying to do, I think Charlie was just basically trying to overload our micro by just running Cav. You know, Cav is so fast and can get through so many different gaps that by doing that, you can really kind of freak people out. And unfortunately, my archers decided to be dumb and they ran into this combat. Luckily, I was able to get them out with a decent amount left. So as you can see, I've got a big clump of my archers here getting ready to help counteract the Carthaginian archers, or really anything. I've got a Galatian legionary coming to back up this Galatian sword, just in case, you know, I don't want to leave a single one line, just because this Cav, if it blasts through that one line, it'll just run right back into our back lines and get into archers, and who knows what just that itself can really screw up your defense. So I've got 2 units here, Galatian swords, yep, both Galatian swords, and then 1 Galatian sword and Galatian legionary. I'm falling back my archers. I'm wondering, I might have been getting pelted a little bit by their archers, I'm not sure at this point. I was losing something. You know, I lost archers to something, I'm not sure. It must have been the other archers. And then on the wall here, my Galatian legionaries are engaged. I will say one thing I love about doing the replays of battles I've been in is that I do get to kind of look at other sides of the field. Now, unfortunately, this is something that, you know, obviously, especially in kind of like a rematch match like this, something that, you know, we find a lot of fun, but also, you know, we were having fun seriously with it. Man, I hate when stuff like this happens, because it just, you know, you're trying to have a good, solid rematch, and when crappy things like this happen, it just sucks. You know, unfortunately, all 4 of his tortoises glitched. They all brought these tiny little gaps that you can't go through. Which really means that Parthia has to basically change his entire strategy of how he's going to attack. I hate that. That just sucks. Because once again, you know, I don't like having an unfair thing. You know, I don't want a fun fight to be clouded over by, you know, dumb glitches. Now, as you could see, this is actually one of our big problems here, and that is our Verni's Ballista. So one of the big issues here is we can consolidate a lot of our forces, yes, but he's got a great vantage point with his artillery on all of our defenses. This entire area is visible to him, which means that all of these reserves, all of these archer positions, all of these choke point defenses, they are all at his mercy. So it is going to be a rough go. That's actually, we ended up falling back from this position here to go back to this position here to consolidate those forces a little bit more. It's rough. This is, it takes us a while. We have to find just about any little hiding spot that we possibly can. So we'll see how that ends up going. Got my gen here in the middle. Galatian legionaries back here. A naked sword over here. And then combination of the Galatian swords there. Gette's got, let me see, 2 Dacian bows, noble sword, and a mercenary axe warrior with me. Basacely's taken the brunt of the defense here with a bunch of desert legionaries, 1 desert cohort, some Numidian light infantry, and a tribal slinger. But you can see moving back a lot of infantry that was really just sitting ducks for the artillery. Nabatea is going to be kind of helping out with Gette over here. We've got Dacian bows, Nabatean heavy archers, noble swords, mercenary axe warriors, armored spears from Gette, armored spears from Gette, some more mercenary axe warriors, Falksmen, interesting, those guys are kind of cool. They got the big, long-bladed, curved swords that are awesome for armor piercing. And then we do have 2 more of the Nabatean heavy archers over here as well. So Carthage is really pushing hard here. Oh, and here's the rest of Macedon. They must have been hiding. They were hiding in one of these 2 woods. Bunch of thorax swords, thorough spears, 2 pikes, Cretan archers, and regular archer units, and then 2 royal peltis. Oop. Now in the settlement here, you can see they're starting to really kind of push in, starting to form up their armies a little bit here. Got thorax swords, Celtic warriors, and a mercenary Scutari. And then the Carthage did bring in one of the Cretan archers here and starting to lay down some fire. Now on this side, we're still holding this choke point against Carthage. Honestly, got kind of a 4v1 here. Libyan infantry coming in, and I've kind of surrounded a lot of it. But we do have some more Libyan infantry coming in to support that. And also there's some Iberian swords throwing their pila into that fight as well. I tried pushing up my archers. I think I'm trying to get a vantage point on the Cretans here. The issue is I didn't realize that that Macedon also had 2 archer units there, so about to get outnumbered there. Now Parthia here is he's pushed up 1 unit onto the walls, but it's getting beat up pretty bad. He does have another 2 units here, Parthian Sword 160 and 102, surrounding the Gette unit here. So Now, because that one broke, this Genta unit might actually re-solidify. He may not run away. You can see Charlie's Cav is just running around here like a shark, man. He's trying to find any little chink in the armor, anything he can possibly find to, you know, get into our back lines. Now, we've got a little bit of an issue here. You know, I'm kind of tied up with this Libyan infantry here, and this Galatian sword is actually breaking, and so that could actually be really bad for my back line here. So we're rushing units over to try and fill that gap if we possibly can. And as we are, just the continued artillery shelling our position is just ridiculous. This whole thing has just been annoying because it makes, even if it's, you know, not killing a ton, it makes us have to adjust our entire defense for that. You know, we have to basically set up in ways that artillery is going to do as little damage as possible. And that really, you know, it makes us have to, you know, defend in ways that we don't really want to. So honestly, we didn't want to give up all this stuff, you know, but we ended up having to because we're getting slaughtered, you know. And so we adjusted our offenses and we're going to go with it this way. Now, Geta is going to pull in his noble swords to go help take down that Libyan infantry, and then the one that was in the gap actually did end up breaking, which means that these 3 units are now open. I've got a slinger over here getting ready to help support down this street, you know, get into the Iberian swords, and hopefully into these archers at some point. Look at that, even our reserves all the way back here are getting pestered by that damn artillery. It's definitely one of those things that it was not fun to endure. Masasely is still holding, man. You know, Beastmaster really took the brunt of all of this for a while. You know, I'm fighting Carthage over here, and yeah, I'm losing units, yes, but you know, I'm also not taking near as much of the constant artillery fire that this side is really taking the brunt of, which is nice for me. But you know, it is getting a little slender over in this side. You know, the Galatian swords here are only 58. I've got a Galatian legionary, and then there's a noble sword here, so that will help. And then I also have a naked sword here that can help as well. But as you can see, Macedon is really pushing down this center street. He's got 2 thorax swords engaged with the Desert Legionaries. Right now it says combat even, so it looks like the exchange here is going pretty much, you know, just really the best we could probably ask for on that. You know, getting hit by archers, hit by artillery, engaged on the front line. You know, I will take combat even at that point. We got 2 Celtic warriors backing up the thorax swords. Something I might suggest at this point is maybe doing some cycling of these units. You know, sometimes getting some, you know, utilizing some of the charge bonuses on the defense can be useful. Or even just pulling this out and using your thorough spears to jabby into the front line there. There's some different, there's a lot of different ways you can play that. So, now, because of this whole situation, we were able to really give up this so that we could push down this street. The main thing we had to worry about is that technically they can get, you know, shots through these holes. But for the most part, we can really just kind of adjust our defense here because there's really nothing threatening us from this wall anymore. Now the thorax swords, 134 and 129 versus 117 and 107. So yeah, actually those thorax swords are really getting the benefit of that. I think it's probably because of these guys. I think these guys were shooting into that line for quite a while. Wow, now Carthage, you can see, Carthage put quite a push into this. So I had moved their naked swords up and another Galatian legionary to go help and defend this. I wasn't paying attention though, and my naked swords, which obviously are naked and don't have very good armor, are getting just melted by archer fire, and that was just a bad move on my part. Galatian legionaries are really helping to solidify. Carthage made quite the push into that gap though. But I'll be honest with you, when I looked at my forces at this point, I did not have that much left. You know, I was really concerned because I really thought I was, you know, losing way more than I needed to lose, and so I was afraid that they were going to break through this side before, you know, this side, and that I would basically, you know, ruin our entire defense. Masacely did pull up another unit, so he brought a Numidian light infantry to come help solidify the line a little bit, because the legionnaires they're losing. Now the Iberian Cav. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize. So in the time after I said that there was no threat, they actually busted down the hole in the wall right over here, and brought Cav in and flanked into the unit that had come down this street. And so we ended up having to put new units over here. Like I said, this one thing I like about doing the replay of battles I was in is a lot of times in those battles, in the battle, you don't really get to see what was going on the other side too much because you're concentrated on microing your own side. So this way I get to kind of get an idea of what the hell happened. You know, what was going on. It's just fun that way. We got another Desert Legionary coming into this front line here. Going to go back into combat with the Thorax Swords. Maybe. I guess not. That's alright. You know, he still has a unit there, so he technically doesn't need it in there yet. So, okay, so he's actually just pulling back his line a tiny bit. Okay, so Masacely just pulled his line back a small bit, probably to get some good jabby tosses in here. So, not a bad idea. Just pulling off a little bit, getting some tosses. They're going to exchange javelins a bit here. Armor 80, so the Legionaries should get the better trade there just because they have a little bit better armor. Parthia did bring in his Eastern Cataphracts, and I think he got a charge down this center street, which is not looking great. You know, all they've got here is Numidian light infantry being pushed pretty hard by some Celtic warriors, but hopefully this desert cohort can go in and kind of solidify that defense, because otherwise this entire back area is in a lot of trouble. Got a lot of archers here. Even my back line could be threatened at that point, so got to be very careful on that spot. He did solidify it, and then he's got another Desert Legionary in support, so that's good. So Carthage is still pushing here. Macedon actually sent a unit in over here. Macedon came in with the Thorax Sword, and actually is coming in with another Thorax Sword to go engage this Noble Sword, which has really been very helpful from Gete, protecting my flank there. That was a really good move on Chronic's part, sending that unit to help me out. He still has that cab, which is just, you know, you're always keeping an eye on that damn cab because you never know where it's going to go or where it's going to sneak in on you, you know. What, does he have 3 of those? I didn't even realize that in the battle that he had 3 units of these. Yeah, he's got 3 units of those Iberian cav. Huh. I knew that he had the 2, but I didn't realize he had the 3rd over here. I thought this was one of those 2 units. So I thought that one unit was moving around the field a ton. I think this is the unit that he may have sent to scout and ran all the way around the city and came over to this side. Now, Nabatea is actually feeling confident enough in our position here that he's actually moved up 2 units of archers. But he does have, let's see, 2 Cretans, 3 Cretan archers here firing down on his position. I don't think he saw that there was that many Cretans from Macedon and Carthage sitting there, because he was trying to get here and shoot into the back lines here to help me out on that. And as you can see, Charlie is once again charging that Iberian cabin. He's trying to sneak it in somewhere. And he was being so annoying with that. If you watch this, Charlie, I love you, buddy. So this front line is looking pretty rough because the pikes. Macedon has one unit of his pikemen in here, and really Masacely in this spot immediately does not have an answer for that. So he's going to have to decide what he needs to do there. Looks like he's going to maybe pull off of that position because those pikes are really just going to kind of beat him up because he can't do anything about it. He did open them up a little bit for his slingers to get some shots into them. So maybe they might be able to get some shots in at that angle now. And then he's got two small units holding back this line. He might honestly, actually, I think he is retreating from that spot. So it looks like Masacely is going to retreat from this spot because he is moving his unit from over here, and the two healthy units that he had here are now leaving. He left the two really weak units there to kind of give him some time to fall back. But now Parthia is going to try and maybe catch some of the retreating troops with his eastern cataphracts. Now the issue that we have is that we needed to move something here to defend. So as you can see, I'm going to take one of my Galatian legionaries and I'm going to move it into this spot to defend that. And then we're going to keep fighting over here because they are still attacking. We've got the two thorax swords still here. And then the depleted unit, Cretan units from Carthage. Parthia, I think, made the smart decision here. He stopped attacking this wall. I think he realized when he got here that he was basically facing a conglomerate of 3 different armies all in this one spot, and very smart move by him from backing away from that and not wasting those troops. So well done by Dan there. And he's done a good job in preserving some of his better units. He's got the 2 Eastern Cataphracts still left, even though they are getting pelted by the Nabatean heavy archers. But we do have a pretty concerted push here. You know, Arverni's got a couple of his Celtic warriors. We got a Scutari. By the way, Getae did move a mercenary axe warrior to back up the Galatian legionaries. And I am moving another Galatian legionary along the back here. I think I'm basically just trying to finish this. But I also think that I believe Chronic's Noble Sword finally broke, which is why I really needed the support. As you can see, I'm adjusting this Galatian legionary because I was about to get flanked. Got a little bit of a jabby exchange here between the Celtic warriors and the Galatian legionaries and mercenary axe warriors. And we got a lot of archers pushing up by the attackers. Got the Cretan archers, and yep, both Cretan archers from both at Macedon and Carthage going to duke it out with Nabatea. He's fallen back a little bit from that. Oh wow, wait, that's 3 units there. Sorry. And now we have Thorough Spears, Scutari, and 2 units of Thorough Spears there. Going into combat with the Desert Hoplites with 2 Desert Legionaries about to support the fight. And here comes Parthia's archers as well. Parthia pretty much has all of his archers, and I don't think he's used any of it. So that is going to be one of our biggest issues there, is that we really don't... We're honestly outmatched in the archer fight at this point. Which is not something at the beginning of this fight. That's not something I would have expected to say. I'm moving my archers up here, but I think it's a bad decision on my part because they've got so many archers over here. There's no way I can counter that. I am going to get a couple volleys in, though.
Aim for the holes!
Yep, there it is. The massive amounts of archer fire coming in on me, and I'm just going to run away. I'm just going to get out of there. That's one thing. We're already outmatched on the archer fight, so if we keep losing archers uselessly, then it's gonna do us no good, you know. Macedon has thorax swords. He's got the 2 thorough spears, but a lot of archer fire. Now the archers are going after my gen, and once again I just got to run them away. I don't have an answer to the archers at the moment. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take him this long way around, because if I keep going this way, he will just stay in their range for longer. Now, one of the issues we've got now is because we have basically lost the initiative of the archer fight, the pikes for the attackers can start to do their thing. So the Macedon pikemen are setting up here because, although I might have, do I have a shot? Yeah, so I actually do have a shot on the Macedon pikes, which is good. I wonder if Parthi had moved up a little bit further with his archers. He probably could have forced me back even farther. Oh, that's a nice shot. Using the thorough spears, they have a controllable javi. He's using them to sling over the heads of the front line into the tribal slingers in the back. Well done by Macedon there. We decided here basically just to pull off of it. We were going to do an L. We decided to set up an L formation in this gap. One, to get a crossfire over javies, but also because the pike can then only choose one of two directions to go. And if he goes one way, he's going to get flanked on the other way. So he did the smart idea and pulled away from that as well. But man, the biggest issue, like I said, that we have right now is really just they have so many archers and we can't do anything about it. We ended up winning on this side. So Carthage is pretty much kaput over here. But he is bringing up an African pike over here. Which once again is not a bad idea because there's nothing we can do about it over here. I can maybe move my archers up a little bit, but there's only so much I can do there. We also, because we won this, we decided, you know what, we no longer need to hold this little plaza, because the only reason we're holding that is because we needed to protect the backs over here. So we just pulled back here into this smaller gap, easier to defend, and then we're just going to hold here and here. And as you can see, this front line is still fighting. Got the Desert Hoplite from Nabatea here with the two legionaries backing it up, and looks like a Celtic Warrior. 126 kills by the Celtic Warrior. That is very well done by Arverni there. And he's actually, he's still doing some pretty good work. He's backed up here by the mercenary Scutari. And then we got a Chosen Sword coming in, and that Chosen Sword is going to do some pretty good work here. Now the back alliance, he's going to take his Desert Cohort, put it in Testudo, just because we keep getting peppered by these archers. And on the left, as you can see, it's kind of slowed down over here. We've been able to kind of redeploy some of our troops into different positions, just because Parthia is no longer attacking onto this front. Still pushing down this center aisle here. Getting a little thin by us on the defensive side. We do still have the 2 units of Desert Legionaries, but the Hoplite unit for Nabatea finally broke. But he did move up a Nabatean swordsman to help kind of do something. Alright, yeah, actually, so Gete is actually getting a really good shot over these buildings into the Macedonian archers. Really nice position right there. I don't think they noticed enough to start shooting back at him, although Parthia might have. So we've got the mercenary Iberian Cav on the move again. Once again, just hunting, just trying to find those little gaps to get through. He was trying to get through this side over here. But luckily we do have the 2 units from Nabatea to back up that line. So even if he did get through, I think that it wouldn't have been too bad, just because we would have had the reinforcements. Macedon still has his Royal Peltis, still has a pike unit, still has Celtic Warriors, Parthian Swords, Naked Warriors. I don't know what the archer unit was doing here. It was a... Gallic Hunter was on this tower. I'm not sure exactly what it was doing. He might have been trying to do something sneaky with that, but maybe realized that it just maybe wouldn't work or something. I'm not sure on that. Now here, our line is a little wonky here, so this Legionary is really getting flanked because there's nothing protecting it on its right. What I think Beastmaster probably should have done here is probably just taken this Legionary and moved it back a tiny bit to be in line with the swords. Although the Nabatean sword is actually now falling back, it looks like we're going to readjust our line again to this center position. So in this gap, I just have my 1 unit of Galatian Legionaries, and then I've got a Galatian Legionary over here, backed up by my general. I put my gen over here because I was worried about some sort of like cab push on one of these sides or anything, and my gen is actually a spear unit, so he would have been able to help hold that line. A Macedonian unit is actually pushed all the way into this and gotten into the Nabatean Axe Warriors here, engaging that front line again. He's kind of all by himself, although he does have the crew of the Celtic Giant Ballista. I wonder, did Parthia... So you can actually take your crew and put it onto somebody else's artillery piece? So Parthia's artillery was destroyed without him really firing much at all. So after Arverni was done firing his ammo, Parthia put his onto the ballista because your crew holds the ammo, not your artillery piece. So now I believe that is a Parthian artillery piece with full ammo, or a lot of ammo, maybe not full, but I believe they have quite a bit. And I think they're holding on to that to use for later. Thorough spears over here. Oh, this is... So got the cataphracts over here. So something that's scary about that is this little line of infantry here to a heavy cav charge straight to the front is probably not going to hold very well. So this is something you got to be very careful of, because if a cav unit blasts half of your line down, they can pretty much just run right through it. And so a tiny little line like this to a heavy cav charge is really just going to get flattened. So I was really concerned about that. So I was asking Chronic, hey, send, please send some to beef up the line. So he took his unit of Dacian heavy bows that are out of ammo. Oh, look at that. And put them behind to beef up the line a little bit. And we're trying to get anything we can. I'm trying to pull over a Galatian Legionary over here. He's throwing an Axe Warrior into this. But that, yeah, that hurt. You saw that how much damage that heavy cav can do in one charge. So now he's going to try and get out of there. He got his charge in. Now he's going to try and get out of there before he loses too much. And our guys are actually pursuing. I think I decided at this point, I was like, no, okay, I'm pulling back. It's like, I thought I was going to go into the thorough spears, but I didn't. There we go, that's what okay, so I decided to go into the thorough spear because I figured my Galatian Legionary could probably beat that. Thorough spears are not the greatest in melee combat, so... Now this is kind of an issue right here. We have a unit here and a couple units here, but we have nothing down the center of this. And you can see Arverni took a unit, is going to kit in and try and flank in the sides. Honestly, if they had more infantry here, they could really push right through that center there. Yeah, nope. Looks like Masacely saw it too soon. So Masacely is going to take his units and try and solidify there. Now here's a huge issue. We had a unit over here holding that broke and we didn't know it. So Macedon's cav is getting right into Gete's archers, and we saw it last second. And we're trying to do everything we can to pull those archers out of there, throw anything we can into that combat to stop this Macedonian cavalry. That's exactly what the attackers were waiting for, was a chink in the armor, something they could flood that cavalry in and just start making our defenses go haywire. He is pulling back a little bit. His other unit came in and charged the noble swords over here. And once again, we're just trying to plug the gaps anywhere we possibly can. For some reason, Gete's spears had gone onto the walls. I believe he had said that he did not mean to put them there, and that might have been one of the reasons that they broke through. It's one of those things that it happens. We are dealing with it. The armored spears are getting in. So the Sarissa Cav is actually already gone, and then this one is still going to be a nuisance, but it's probably not going to do too much. But man, that was so close. He did get in. He did get quite a bit of archers there. 65. So he took this archer unit down to basically half health because of that. So that was a lot better than it could have been, but it still wasn't great for us. Now, Parthia is trying to support this fight. He's put his Eastern Cataphracts and charged in the back of the Armored Spears. Not a bad idea. And then Mastodon's Cav unit here is going to try and run around and once again just be a nuisance. Try to, get us to, hey, look over here. Hey, look over here. Now Parthia is pulling his Cav back as Arverni pulls up his Chosen Sword to put into combat here. The Axe Warriors, the Chosen Sword should beat pretty easy, but the Rakim Palace Guard is going to be a little bit tougher. There is an Armored Spear here, so that will help. On the front side, we do have Carthage's Gen up here trying to give some inspiration to the front lines. The African Pikes are getting melted here by the Nabatean Thorax Pikes. I don't think I think they're a little out of position, and then I think the Nabatean Thorax Pike is just a little better. Oh, and there was a legionary, or a Numidian light infantry that was kind of hitting their flanks as well, I see. We got another pike unit from Macedon coming in, though. I'm going to push this left flank. And he has a Chosen Sword from Arverni holding his right, so he can kind of set up here, get his pikes down, and move in on these on the backs of the Chosen Swords to help against Nabatea, while Arverni's Chosen Swords attack the Nabatean Axe Warriors. Needs to be careful though, because he's about to expose the flank of that pike unit. Parthia should probably send something into this gap, or just to keep that Numidian light infantry off of the pikes. Because see, now they're just going to slip right through there. Now, Carthage came in with his Noble Cav Gen. He charged this line again. We beefed it up a little bit, so we've got the Axe Warriors and the Galatian Legionaries holding it, and then we do have a Nabatean Axe Pike there, or Axe Pike, a Nabatean Thorax Pike to help hold that line. Got a big push, actually. Celtic Warrior, Chosen Sword, a couple Thorough Spears over here. I believe these archers are out of ammo. I sure hope they're out of ammo. Otherwise, that's a big no-no by me. Yeah, they took the Legionaries, and I think they got caught out here. So most of the Legionaries' unit is actually back here, but one of the flag bearer is caught back here. So a big push coming from them on that side. And then right down the center, we have Cav coming in, charging the front line of the Nabatean Swords. They look like they're pretty decently low on infantry. We got Naked Warriors and Oathsworn back here. Pikes, Mercenary Hoplites. Lots of archers, dude. 2 Royal Peltis. Yeah, honestly, I'm just not seeing a lot of infantry. Chosen Swords hitting into the Armored Spears. They're combat even, so I mean, that's not a bad spot to be in. I think Macedon's pikes ended up getting just destroyed by archers. So we were thinking, I know at one point we were thinking about wrapping in over here, but our concern at that point was that it would leave this entire area open. And so I know that was one reason we didn't take this unit, or that I didn't take this unit and come in on the backs of these Thorough Spears. And we might have missed an opportunity because they've now got a Mercenary Hoplite coming to take that gap away, which means that they can do a little bit more with the 2 units of Thorough Spears if they decide to. I took my Naked Swords. I'm going to throw them in here once again, just trying to alleviate as much pressure as I possibly can. And on the center, the Cav is really just charging back and forth into the combat there. We got Royal Peltis here backing up the Chosen Swords. The Chosen Swords have made pretty good progress here. But I think they might be being led into this gap. Nabatean Axe Warriors going to support the Chosen Swords there. And this combat here is still going pretty strong. The Celtic Warriors still in combat, 102 and 85 on those guys. Really well done with the Celtic Warriors. It's such an underrated unit. toe-to-toe, they may not go great against like super good units, but for the fact of how cheap they are and for being a solid unit, it means that they're a unit that is very viable in any situation, which is nice. And just even having them for Javies is really nice as well. I think really what's hurting them the most in the end is honestly just the archers. They've been doing great work here, but I think the archers are really what's honestly doing the majority of the damage to them right now. I will say that Galatian Legionary has 384 kills. I will take that any day of the day. Macedon's Jen, the Royal Peltis, is up here giving support to the Parthian swords. What I would probably suggest at this point is switching out, taking these Parthian swords out and moving the Royal Peltis into combat. Just to, one, get a good charge bonus, but also, you know, it alleviates a little bit of the pressure on the Parthian sword. They're winded, they're losing, so being able to trade out units every once in a while can really have a huge effect on the damage you do. They still have all these archers. The Oathsworn is still back here. The pikes have broken. Chosen swords are broken. They should have so much cavalry. The hoplites are still holding this gap here, which is a really good idea. It allows them to continue fighting on this side without the worry of the flank from the other side. See, the archers, I'm not sure. So these are actually Arverni's archers. Arverni did a great job. That's Joe. Did a great job with his archers in holding on to them as long as possible, especially since, because they're the Gallic hunters and they've got that stalk ability, for a long time we had no idea really where they were. So him bringing them in now means that they are pretty fresh. They've got ammo, and honestly they've been hard for us to target. The Royal Peltis are now fighting Gette's Noble Sword. Combat even, they're 188 kills, so they're definitely doing their job over there. And then the Royal Peltis Jen is here with 57 kills. Honestly, I bet a lot of those are probably from his javelins. Now Nabatea has got his what's left of his pike unit moving into combat with these Parthian swords, which is not a bad idea. He's got this line covered, so he's really just going to throw this in here into this small gap. It's a small unit, so he doesn't need... Oh, and then on this side we actually did end up pushing. Chronic took his Falksman, charged into the hoplites, and then after losing the charge bonus, we switched. He pulled his Falks out, and I threw my Legionaries in. And we're going to try and basically bust through this mercenary hoplite as quick as possible so we can maybe get in behind the Thorough Spear here. Now, the thing that we were a little worried about was this. One of the reasons we didn't want to do that was the cav coming around the side. And as you can see, that's exactly what's happening. So we're going to switch again. He's going to take the Falks into the mercenary hoplites, and I'm going to take my Galatian Legionary, and I'm going to set it up in the gap here. Because at that point, my Galatian Legionary will take that charge better than the Falksmen will. I can go into shield wall, and he notices that we noticed it, and yep, there's the shield wall right there. Yep, and Carthage just is pulling off. He basically realized what was happening, and what we have to do very quickly, we have to readjust our line back to our original position. Otherwise, we have the chance of getting flanked on this side, hit by the charge here, and hit by the charge here. So that was our big concern, was all that cavalry. We just knew that if we weren't very careful, that they would be able to get so many different angles that we may just not be able to account for. Now, this line, honestly, for all this cab being here, this line does not look good. Desert Legionary at 80 and a Galatian Legionary at 20-something. Not anymore, but was. Although Mosaisley is bringing his armored Numidian riders to help that, which is good, because, man, it was... Whew! Now, my Nobleman is right here, which is good, because he's a spear unit. I can get him into this combat and help defend against these, against this cavalry. Because that was a really, really just intense part of the battle, because we did not think we were going to be able to hold this, because there's so much heavy cavalry. Eastern Cataphracts, Noble Horse, Noble Cav, and another Eastern Cataphract that's going to come into this line here. It was, luckily for me, getting shot by the Syrian Archer as well. Front end here, or on the center, I guess I should say, the Royal Peltis are still fighting here with, looks like a unit of, okay, so a unit of pikes from Macedon as well. And then they've got the unit of Oathsworn in there as well. And then Oathsworn is just, look at that, the numbers just racking up there for kills. 42, 43. I wonder, I'm thinking the Royal Peltis from over here must have eventually been defeated. We'll see at the end of the battle how much kills that ended up getting. And then Joe still has his naked warriors in the back. We did end up defeating the Eastern Cataphract over here. How many kills did he get with that damn thing? 83 is pretty good. And then they pulled back a lot of the rest of their cav, but we are pushing on this side. As you can see, we're taking the units from the far right and our units from this little position, and we're going to push into the flank of the attackers here. And I think, oh man, Nabataea's Palace Guard is just getting killed there by the archers. That is one thing they still have a lot of, is archers. Look at this fight. Look at this. And look at that. A cool little shot right there. Pikes are still there. Oathsworn is 98. The Royal Peltis at 91. And then the push coming in over here. I've got my gen coming in as well. Because that is one thing we still need to worry about, is the amount of cavalry that they still have. Got the Falksmen coming in, and this is just going to be cycle charge after cycle charge, which is, it's going to hurt. Now, Masacely's Tribal Singers are doing really good at getting into these. They're shooting into the back of the Arverni archers over here. And then the Noble Horse from Carthage is just countercharging everything it possibly can. 209 kills for the Noble Cavalry. That's very, very well done by Carthage. My spears are basically just trying to hold back as much as they possibly can while the Galatian Legionaries get into the combat and actually do some killing there. And then Gette's got some of his archers here, once again, kind of shooting into the sides of the attackers here. The Royal Peltis backed off of combat for a little while, I think basically letting his pikemen get in and take the brunt of that. Probably, he's fresh, I was thinking, now he's going to charge back in now. Oathsworn doing very well at 152 kills. Archers are still firing, and we have a tiny unit of pikemen from the Macedon coming in. But look at the death and destruction in these areas, guys. You can see, it's crazy when you can literally see the physical representation of where the line of battle was. You know, you can see it started here, moved to here, then you can see that it moved to this spot, and as you can see, it just keeps backing up into this spot. The attackers were they had a fantastic push going on. They really put us on our toes on this. Naked Warriors over here hitting into the Galatian Legionaries from myself. I had pulled my gen back, because of Parthia had his gen moving around the side, so I pulled my spearmen back here to protect my flank there. The Arverni archers are still firing. 156 kills and 104 kills. Not sure what are they shooting at the... Okay, yep, they're shooting at the Legionaries back here. Oh, they might have been shooting at my Celtic Slingers, that's probably what it was. Pikes are starting to lose, and the Royal Peltis is back in combat at, 200 kills now. 200 on the Oathsworn as well. And then Arverni's probably out of ammo now and throwing in his archers. On this side, we still have the Chosen Swords and the Noble Horse. The Noble Horse are just running right through that archer unit. Archers do not do very good at holding cavalry back. Pro tip. Yeah, and Parthia is... We just don't really have a lot we can do about the cavalry except for just take it, you know what I mean? The Royal Peltis gen is still 242, 98 men left. Oathsworn 225 with 65 men left, so they are just really chewing through this front line. Really, on this front line, that's one downside to something like to a faction like Masacely is unfortunately they don't have much of a high tier unit that can do much against something like an Oathsworn or a Royal Peltis, which really sucks, you know. Now we do still, there's a lot of army losses happening here. That's basically what's happening there. But Arverni's got his gen running around in the back here. Luckily, Chronic had left 2 units back here because we thought they had left something in the back here. So the units that were on the way back from the back there were luckily close enough here that they could counter what he was trying to do with his gen. Otherwise, otherwise it could have been a lot more annoying. But man, this is, I mean, I think you guys can tell by now, for whatever they're doing here, this battle is pretty much done. You know, Parthia is about to lose his gen to army losses. Arverni, his gen really is very stubborn. Very, very, very stubborn. Alright, so he is broken. Parthia's gen is still charging in here. One of the annoying thing is we had no cav left, so we really couldn't catch it. So we're trying to do as much as we can to get out in front of it if we can, try and surround it. Basically just keep it from running around, because it's really just butchering these archers right now. 162 kills. It's going to run out of there. I think it's going to try going this way. He just does not want to leave, that's for sure. So he's going to run his Parthian gen away. Alright, we're going to go ahead and fast forward a tiny bit here. And army losses wavering. Going to charge into the archers here. Nice volley, at least, before it charged, thankfully. Still going. 203 kills, though. Good gosh, man. He definitely got his worth out of that general, that's for sure. I think he's going to get another charge in before he breaks, too. Yep. Right in the mercenary axe warriors. Oh. Breaking a unit of heavy archers and the axe warriors. 256 kills, and he's still going. This guy did not want to go. Oh, and that is it. Alright, guys, let's look at the kills. Wrong button. Alright, so Chronic is Gete with 1,763 kills. Let's see. Noble Swords, 144, 185, 157, all did well. His archers did very well with 151, 133, 114. Falksman, I think this is one of the ones that he had at the back of the settlement, just in case they had sneaky stuff back there. 79, 67. His Axe Warriors all did solid. Armored Spear, 66 kills, and doesn't look like it lost anyone. 173 on the Armored Spears here. Buds with 1,482 kills. His Cav didn't really kill anything. I don't know exactly what happened to it, honestly. Rakim Palace Guard, 111 kills. His archers did well, except for these two. 45 and 56 on the Desert Hoplites. Noble Swords, 78, 60, 119, and... Oh, wait, those are swords. Wow, so the Nabatean Swords did better than the Noble Swords. 119 and 111 on the Nabatean Swords. 132 and 108 on the Axe Warriors, and then his Pikes, 152 on those guys. Myself with 2,493. Galatian Nobleman, 96 kills. Slinger with 143. My archers did okay. 181, 98. My Galatian Legionaries, though, did their work. 175, 162, 175, 429, 185, and 289. Galatian Swords really did as much as they were supposed to do. 96, 128, 96, you know. Beastmaster with 1997 is a good year. It's a good year. Army Numidian Riders with a 139. Slingers, these two I think probably got focused down by archers. Those other two did very well, 160, 137. Desert Cohort, 280, very well done with those, 158. And then his Legionaries all did very solid, 144, 105. And then the Numidian light infantry really did as much as they could have done. They're very low, like they're light infantry, obviously. So they did as much as they possibly could. Charlie 6 Zulu as Carthage with 1992. That was an even better year. His Noble Cav, I swear I will stop making ear jokes. Noble Cav 257, extremely well done with them. His Cav did really well, 107 on this guy there. His archers did very well as well, 148, 100, and 117. His pikes just got shredded. Sometimes that's just how pikes are. People see pikes and they tend to get focused down with archers. Libyan infantry, 181, 144. Let's see, Iberian swords, 112, 107. Very good for those. And then, honestly, look at that. Scutari, 242. Awesomely done there. Arverni, Joe on it, 2550. 251 kills with that ballista. Gosh, man, that hurts. Because once again, that's a combination of 251 kills, but also us having to adjust our entire defense because of it. His gen got 70. His archers, they did, 2 units did really well. 2 units not as much. 163, 107. His Celtics, he did so good with them. 132, 155, 102. Very well done with them. The Chosens, really, they're very, very good mid-tier infantry. 226, 339 on those guys. 128, 126. There's Oathsworn with 232. Armored Scarab, 279 with the Royal Peltis. Very well done with him. His Sarissa Cav, 62 on one of those and 49 on the other. The 2 archer units really, unfortunately, did not do very well. They have that 125 range instead of the 150, and that, I think, really hurts them. The Cretans, though, did excellent, 181 and 126. His pikes really did as much as they could. The gaps that they had to attack into, unfortunately, I just don't think were very good for the pikes, which just kind of sucks, 243 on the other Royal Peltist, 107, 106, and 139 on the Thorax pike or Thorax swords. Then Dan with 1981, 256 with the Gen, very well done. 67 and 83 on the Eastern Cataphracts, pretty good there. 215 on the, look at that, Parthian Archers, 215, awesome. 160, 144, and 146. So his archers did fantastic. Parthian swords, 143, 160, and 195. So that, like I said, that was the rematch to the battle against the Hungry Wolves and Joe on it. Like I said, keep an eye out. Pixelated Apollo is going to be doing the first match. Once again, I'm not going to tell you who wins or loses that one. Just know that this was the rematch of that fight. So make sure to keep an eye out for that and take a look at it. And then also go look at Joe on its channel. This battle actually took place on his stream on Saturday night. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time.